Number 17, we're back, and today we're speaking about a little bit of current news that's been happening. Well, it's been developing maybe over the last few years.
Come to light recently a lot more, hasn't it?
It's come to light recently a lot more, so we thought we'd speak about it because it's a little bit relevant for the time, and also we've been speaking about this, well, at least I have for a number of years now, but that is the effects of EMF and how it's playing a role in the NFL right now, which is American football basically. So there's a team in the American Football League called the San Francisco 49ers, and they basically have a stadium, or their practice stadium I believe is right next to an electrical power station, and because the electrical power station obviously is expelling low level EMF on a kind of constant basis, the San Francisco 49ers have had the highest amount of injuries over the last 2 seasons than any other NFL team by far, basically. And that is not coincidence,
I was going to say, it's not as a...
There's absolutely no chance that's coincidence. Listen, again, like we've mentioned before, science and the scientists that have been kind of buried and not brought into the forefront of science because of their role in exposing EMF dangers. People like Alan Fry, people like Robert O. Becker.
We've mentioned them a few times.
People like Andrew Marino as well, who are very high level established scientists in the scientific world. And these guys have proven pretty much without a shadow of a doubt that, listen, EMFs are not good for us. And long-term EMF exposure, it causes havoc on your biology, basically. So now it's being shown in real life as a real life example. You know, the 49ers have had, I think, 40 plus hamstring tears, calf tears. They've had like 8 or 9 serious injuries, was like ACL tears and fucking
Wasn't the Achilles
ruptures and all this, that, the other. Do you know what I mean? I think there's been like 10 or 12 ACL or Achilles ruptures. There's been like 40 plus hamstring or calf ruptures, and yeah, a lot of their high level kind of performers who, listen, like I said, that's their job. They get massages every other day. They eat the best food. They go and do all their cryo chambers and fucking all this other shit, you know what I mean? And listen, these guys are much more resilient than the average person because they've gotten to themselves to that level of physical ability to be in the NFL. Do you know what I mean? So they are probably even more resilient than the general population. And these guys are dropping like flies. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely EMF has a cause in all of the soft tissue damage that is being happening to these NFL players. A few things to be aware of is every time they play, they go to a stadium that is full of non-native EMF as well. That doesn't help. So they're performing in a bad environment. They get exposed to loads of blue light as well because you've got the TV screens and whatever you have, and if it's an evening game, then you got all the lights on and shit like that, and you got everybody's flash pointing at you and shit like that, and you've got 60,000-70,000 say fans in the stadium, all with their phones and everything else. Do you know what I mean?
It's a hellhole, isn't it?
So it's an EMF hellhole, exactly. Even when you perform, none of these athletes are performing barefoot because, like I said, that's the remedy.
Sports.
Yeah, but that's the remedy. If you are in a grass field connected to the human frequency, then that's going to protect you from all this EMF. But they have all these football cleats on and things like this. Even their helmets, because I'm quite familiar with the NFL and I watch it sometimes, say highlights and shit like that. My dad likes to watch it quite a lot. They have all this technology in there.
They have like radios, don't they, as
In
well?
there, yeah, exactly. They have all this technology in their helmets, radios and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? So they're fucking frying their own brains as well at the same time. So all of this adds up, you know.
I reckon, touch on the human resonance. You said about if you're grounded, you're in harmony with the human resonance. Human resonance is the natural sort of frequency of the earth, which is 7.83 hertz. So if they're next to this, what type of like power station is it?
It's an electrical power station.
Is it like a power grid or just
It's basically like a power grid,
So
basically.
if they're next to that, the frequency that comes from that
It's
is
way
going to
higher.
be so much higher. So just your natural sort of like frequency that your body has evolved to, you know, be in contact with. The frequency from this plant is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times higher than what it's naturally meant to be exposed to. So, and as well, the energy that comes from this plant is non-native. Non-native means man-made. Native is, you know, earthly, you know,
Natural.
God-given, natural. It's a completely different type of frequency. So not only is it like 10 times higher than what we're meant to be exposed to, it's unnatural. It's going to throw your body's natural sort of processes off. It's going to confuse your system.
100%. And we've only really been exposed to this high level of, say, radio frequencies and EMF and all this other stuff over the last 100 years, especially over the last 30 years, since technology has really taken a kind of upward curve in its kind of advancement. You know what I mean? We've gone from like brick phones with no internet to like everybody's got like a laptop in their front pocket nowadays, basically. So that's a crazy speed of development, but a crazy speed of exposure as well. So now our bodies are not used to, and our biology is not adapting faster than technology is faster. Is adapting, sorry. So
you've got billions of years worth of programming in your body, and this AC power grid that popped up 130 years ago, around that time frame,
maybe a bit more, but yeah,
has come in and just corrupted your biology. You know, 100 years worth of change isn't enough to override billions of years worth of programming. Your body just can't catch up in time. So that's why it throws the system off.
Yeah,
you're all right.
fine,
Don't worry.
No,
You're all right. Yeah, with the power grids as well, it's an alternating current comes from these power plants or energy plants, whatever, and that's not how nature operates. So I said that not only is the frequency much higher than what your body is used to, it's also an unnatural frequency. So nature operates on a direct current. It's just a one-way sort of circuit, if you know what I mean. Whereas what we're used to, the man-made power grids, they're alternating currents. So the current goes forward and backwards. Your body's not programmed to be in contact with something like that. So especially if you're training every single day, you know, if they're training there every day, they're going to live a large proportion of their life next to that, aren't they? They're exposed to that for a lot of time. That's going to take a toll on your physical body.
100%. And then a lot of these athletes are not going to go home and sit in the garden and ground and sunbathe and do all this. They're gonna be tired. They're gonna be achy. So they're gonna be sitting in front of the TV watching Netflix, not grounded, exposing themselves to even more EMF. They're gonna be playing on their phone or whatever else they do. Play on fucking video games and shit. Do you know what I mean? So you're just frying yourself from every end. You're getting exposed to it in training, then you're getting exposed to it at home, and yeah, it's not ideal. But hey, listen, a man like me, I've known about this for a long time, and I've gone past the standard calories in, calories out, and track your steps and all this other shit. I was never on that wave anyway. I'm here to be listen, 49ers, come and hire a man like me, come and hire a biogeometry
Yeah.
practitioner
You need to.
to actually come and harmonize that power plant for you without having to change a stadium, without having to do any of that. All the I would say all the athletes as well who live at home, and even the service is going to be available to you guys very soon. Even people at home, I can sort your Wi-Fi out. If you've got a 5G tower at the end of your road, don't worry, you don't have to move to the countryside to get away from all of this EMF. You can harmonize it with the new modern day mixing science and spirituality together. That is biogeometry. So yeah, little plug for you guys for my next business venture, but yeah, that'll come soon. Yeah, another example of this, people saying, oh, these frequencies can't penetrate your skin and all this, that, the other. I don't know if you guys seen when the US Army invaded Venezuela recently. It was quite close to the beginning of the year, maybe like the 3rd of January or something like that it was.
Was it now? It's the 17th.
On a full moon as well, so, you know, don't worry, astrology.
It wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah, not coincidence. Nothing's a coincidence in this programmed fucking game of life that we play. And these elites know about astrology and all this sort of stuff, so don't worry, astrology podcast dropping real soon. But they were using like this, very similar to, I don't know if people watch Stranger Things, when like the army guys are trying to get say Elle and her sister Carly, who are like these gifted children, and they basically blast them with this radio frequency that makes them kind of incapacitated. Do you know what I mean? Makes them start having headaches. They curl up on the floor, lying on the floor, screaming and shit like that. So they use the exact these things that you watch on Netflix, and a lot of these kind of movies and entertainment that you're watching, you might think that it's very innocent, but what they're actually doing is subtly programming you to get used to these sort of things, so that when they come out in real life, then it's not a shock to you. Do you know what I mean? So the US Army, I think there was a small amount of soldiers who basically took out a large amount of the Venezuelan army, like hundreds, thousands of soldiers. Do you know what I mean? Got took out by, I think it was like 20 or 30 US soldiers, and these guys had like this sonic wave machine that, when they blasted it, basically made everybody start bleeding out of their nose and start vomiting blood. That's crazy. So if you can do that with a sound frequency, then that's basically what we're doing with EMF on a low level. Like I said, this is World War III, but we don't know about it. Do you know what I mean? We're already at war with all of these big technocratic kind of companies and these high level leaders of the world who, they don't want you to survive. They don't want you to thrive. They don't want you to win in life. They don't want you to be a sovereign individual and be the most powerful version of yourself like you're meant to be. They want you to be weak and sick and be dependent on the state for everything that you need, basically. Do you know what I mean? That's why they blast you with these low level EMF currents all day, every day. Do you know what I mean? Because it's basically making you slower, weaker, and dumber as well. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, just wanted to put that out there.
But even to go back to the 49ers, they're getting loads of injuries. This power plant is an electric frequency, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of your recovery processes occur on the sort of magnetic side of the spectrum, don't they? Because we're talking about these frequencies, but probably to point out, for those who don't know, you've got electromagnetic frequencies. You've got one side, electro, which is the electric, the other side is the magnetic side. You need both, obviously, to function properly, but when you're exposed to these power plants or these 5G towers, whatever, it's very high in electric. You miss out on sort of the magnetic side. So the recovery processes that occur when you're asleep, when the sun goes down, it's higher in magnetic flux. It's more of a magnetic sort of frequency, you know, that side of the spectrum.
So
isn't it?
basically, you have electric and you have magnetic at the same time as well. Do you know what I mean? So when you're getting blasted by the electrical frequencies, it's messing up the magnetic frequencies at the same time as well, because you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're both tied together.
Yeah.
That's just
So
that's
when it's
physics.
higher in electric, like if you say you go to the gym, muscles are sore, when you recover, it's more of a magnetic sort of process, isn't it? Your mitochondria are recovering. When you're next to that power plant and it's purely electric and you're not getting that magnetic side at the same time, you know, you're not going to recover as well. You get more injuries. That's just, you know, one of the factors in the equation.
For sure.
Anything else to touch on with that sort of power
Nah.
plant?
Something for you guys to look into yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Go and type
End
it in.
of.
Go on the news.
Go, yeah, exactly. Go and look at the rate of injuries for the 49ers and where their stadium is kind of based in correlation to how close it is to this electrical plant, and then look into Andrew Marino's book. I think it's I can't remember what it's called now. Going Somewhere, I believe it's called, and then go and look at Robert O. Becker's work as well. Go and look at Andrew Fry's work, and then come back to me. Do you know what I mean? Before you start making comments like, "Oh, none of this is real," and like, listen, the science has been
low frequency. It doesn't affect your body and shit like that.
the science has been out for a long time, guys.
People have known about this for a while, 100%. So go and have a look for yourself. Go and look on the news. Go and look on like a normal news article, how it's a conspiracy theory and how it's like a, you know, a trend. It's like a old wives' tale sort of shit. Go and have a look. Then have a look at those scientists we pointed out.
Because they're half taking the piss with like the articles that they're saying like, oh, this power plant and this, that, the other. Lots of conspiracy theorists are suggesting that it has an effect on the rate of injuries and why they're the most injured team in the league right now. But look back over the last 5-6 years, guys. A lot of these conspiracy theorists were correct, weren't they? You know what I mean? A lot of these conspiracy theorists turn out to actually be telling you the truth most of the time. Do you know what I mean? But then you look back on hindsight and thought, shit, they were actually right. You know what I mean? Don't let EMF be another one of these. You know what I mean? Things that, you know, we don't mind. We've got tough skin. We can take hate comments and all this other bullshit. But what I don't want to see is people's lives being lost, people having a shit standard of living, and things like that. You know what I mean? Because of this.
Yeah, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
For sure.
Yeah.
And again, I can start, and maybe we will as well, start going a little bit more sciencey and a little bit more, even though it's boring for me, I don't want to fucking do this because I enjoy just talking shit on this podcast and not making it super sciencey. Maybe I will pull up some stats and some scientific things, but start looking at the rate of say autism in places like LA where there's a lot of EMF.
A lot of radio towers.
Yeah.
All across the map.
Yeah. I think it was like 1 in every 300,000 child. Now it's like 1 in every fucking 200 child is having fucking
ADHD as well, yeah.
autism and all this other shit, you know what I mean? And listen, that's something that I've seen with my own eyes. I'm sure most of us have seen with our own eyes. Back in the days, I didn't have anybody in my school pretty much with autism. I didn't know hardly anyone who was like on a really bad level with it, you know what I mean? People who have allergies, things like that, you know what I mean? Like you might have one person in every 100, 200 people who like have like a severe nut allergy or something like that, do you know what I mean? Now, I know a lot of teachers, I know a lot of people in these schools. Now, like in a classroom of 20, there's like 10 of them who've got like severe allergies. They're celiac, or they have nut allergies, or they have all these other things, you know what I mean? the rate of a lot of these diseases that are basically mitochondrial diseases are exponentially growing, but so is the rate of our development of technology, so is the rate of our exposure to EMF as well. Is that a coincidence? Probably not. I don't think it is.
I mean, like you were saying about autistic kids in your class, I remember being in primary school, there was always like one or two. As I got to secondary school, there was even more. I only left secondary school like 4 or 5 years ago, and like I saw more and more. But then, eventually teaching like kids boxing, for example, it's like half the parents are coming to me saying like, oh, he's a bit autistic, just to let you know, for future. I'm like,
Trust me.
It's like more and more. I've gone from like seeing a few, and then it's a few more in secondary school, and then now that I'm like just become an adult sort of thing, and now there's kids who are like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old coming to me, and like half the kids are autistic. I'm like,
More than half.
Like, how's that happened?
It's ridiculous.
iPad kids, more 5G towers, more non-native EMF, more energy power plants, more electricity pylons. All that shit is,
Exactly,
like you said, it's World War III without you realising. People think, oh, it's one of them things, he's born like that. It's like, no. Sorry, your kid wasn't born non-verbal. Do you know what I mean? It's not how that works. Something has caused that, and I would say, in my opinion, most of that is down to the non-native EMF. Sort of like, what's the word?
Epidemic.
It's, yeah.
Basically, you know what I mean? And of course, the food and all this other stuff doesn't help, and artificial light, and it all plays a factor.
Definitely part of the equation, but if I had to narrow it down to say like
the biggest factor,
the biggest, I'd say it's this non-native EMF problem.
And trust me, listen, I lived above shop for 25 years, like I said. If somebody who's been exposed to a lot of non-native EMF, it's me. Do you know what I mean? More so than the average person, I didn't have a garden for a long period of time. I didn't ground. I never used to get out in the sunlight. You know what I mean? So I'm only saying these things out of love for you guys. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm trying to educate. Do you know what I mean? And make you guys aware. And when you know better, then you can start doing better. Because now I know better, I start doing better. You know what I mean? And we need more biogeometry practitioners now in the world, because this is the time for massive change. So don't worry, your boy's here. You know what I'm saying? We don't fuck around.
Yeah. So
we do not fuck around.
Just to finish, the solution for you: hire Suraj. Let's come and harmonise your house. Whatever it is, get a biogeometry practitioner who knows what they're doing.
Ground.
Second part is getting nature, grounding,
sunlight,
sun exposure. Don't block the sun. Don't block your connection to the earth.
The more melanin you have, the more protected you are from non-native EMF. You can absorb more non-native EMF basically and get away with it. So make sure you get that tan in. Especially in the winter time, if you have to go to a different country in a couple of, me and Lewis will be off in a few weeks. We're gonna get our tan on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and if you don't, cold exposure
in the evenings, in the winter time.
Winter, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can't get out in the sun, as of right now, it's UV 0 where we are. You can't survive off that. The way that you're gonna get your UV light is internal. You're going to create it yourself. You need cold to do that. So more time in nature, which is grounding, bare feet on the earth, sun exposure, cold exposure. If you can go to a different country where it's warm, more tropical, perfect, do that.
Cold showers are free, guys.
Yeah.
You don't need a fancy ice bath with filters.
No, you don't need cryo
all this other shit, you know what I mean?
Cold shower, cold water does the job. And then hire Suraj to come and harmonise your house. Simple as that. Nature's free, gives you the answers. You just got to put yourself in that environment and let nature do its thing.
But listen, the world is slowly starting to catch up. They're slowly starting to wake up, and these things are going to get more and more exposed, and we're just bringing them to the light. and letting you know
We're just
about it.
speaking it up, aren't we?
Exactly.
Leave it there. We're done.
Cool. We're done. We're done.
Sound.
Stay dangerous.
Subscribe, follow, press the buttons that are there.
Email, all that.
Rate us, whatever. Email us, askheartartificial@gmail.com. Any questions? We'll see you next week.